Welcome to another episode of Creator Daily. I'm your host, Michael, covering the top news stories, latest strategies, and emerging trends in the overall creator landscape. Today, we're diving into why the biggest names in podcasting aren't going anywhere anytime soon. Plus, we'll talk about Snapchat's bold new ad campaign positioning itself as the anti-social media choice. Exciting news for Spotify listeners. Joe Rogan's podcast is branching out to more platforms. Ever wondered about the income of online creators? A new report sheds light on the financial realities, and for our final tidbit, we'll discuss the implications of a substantial data breach at a popular Twitter alternative. Stay tuned for all this and more on Creator Daily. In the ever-evolving world of podcasting, it looks like the big names are here to stay with some eye-catching deals that assert their dominance. This week, we saw SiriusXM striking a massive deal with the hit podcast Smartless, reportedly worth over a whopping $100 million. Smartless is moving away from Amazon's Wondery, and this transaction comes at a pretty interesting time because SiriusXM has just reported some significant subscriber losses. Yes, that's right, they're down by 430,000 subscribers for the year 2023. The timing of this deal could be seen as a strategic move by SiriusXM to bolster its content offering and attract new listeners. This just goes to show how competitive the podcasting landscape has become, where major companies are willing to invest big bucks to keep their platforms fresh and appealing. The importance of high-profile podcasts and A-list hosts can't be underestimated in the race to captivate audiences. It seems like even as the industry shifts and changes with the tech tides, names like Joe Rogan and shows like Smartless continue to be MVPs of the podcast game. Snapchat is switching up its marketing strategy, launching a campaign that boldly positions the platform as the antidote to social media. Recognizing a collective weariness towards the social media popularity contest, the constant struggle for likes, the pressure to present a picture-perfect life, Snapchat is stepping in claiming to be different. They don't have a feed to pressure users into chasing viral fame. Instead, the app opens straight to your camera and content is ephemeral, encouraging more authentic sharing. Snapchat seems to be staking a claim in being a space for natural, less curated interaction. It's about sharing real moments with friends, not stressing over follower counts or perfect posts. That's the message behind its new ad campaign, which aims to remind people what social media was initially for: genuine connection. Snap tries to make the case that their platform never was part of the problem because it was built as an antidote from the start. You might remember they've tried to distinguish themselves before, like when they launched Snap Spectacles and called themselves a camera company. CEO Evan Spiegel has also referred to the app as a messaging service rather than a social one. These claims find some support in larger social media trends. People are increasingly turning to enclosed private conversations in messaging apps, and big platforms are shifting more towards entertainment than personal connection. This suggests Spiegel might be onto something with his claim that social media is dead. Furthermore, studies show that younger user groups are glued to Snapchat, but as they grow older, the app's hold is less stable. Despite Snapchat's long-standing efforts to brand itself as something unique, there remains the question of whether this new ad campaign will extend its appeal beyond its core young audience. Will Snapchat find a way to maintain its relevance as its user base matures? Time will tell, but for now at least they've put a stake in the ground, aiming to be the place where private, close-knit personal connections thrive in a digital era seemingly oversaturated with the impersonal and performative. In the podcasting world, there's a significant shift happening at Spotify. Despite previous controversies, the streaming giant is sticking with Joe Rogan, renewing their partnership with him through a new multi-year agreement, rumored to be around $250 million. Though Spotify says that figure is off the mark, the new deal does shake things up a bit. Rogan's show will no longer be a Spotify exclusive. Spotify initially went all in on exclusives to compete with rivals like Apple Podcasts, buying up studios and signing exclusive deals with high-profile podcasters. But the strategy is changing. Big-name shows from Alex Cooper and Dax Shepard, among others, have already started to appear on multiple platforms, and now Joe Rogan's podcast is following suit. This move is twofold. It's about increasing ad revenue and could also relieve some of the platform's controversy-related pressure when Rogan enters choppy waters. Last year, his show was at the center of a misinformation row, prompting Spotify to make some policy changes. What's clear is that Joe Rogan still sits atop the podcasting throne, consistently ranking as the most listened-to podcast, and helping drive podcast consumption and ad revenue growth significantly since joining Spotify. This leap to multiple platforms marks a new chapter for Spotify as they continue to wrestle with turning regular profits. It will be interesting to see how this shift impacts their numbers and the podcasting landscape in general. A new report has surfaced, shedding light on the financial realities for online creators. According to research from the creator monetization platform Kajabi, an eye-opening 96% of creators are earning less than $100,000 a year. This isn't the first time we've seen such figures. Similar findings were reported by Aspire in 2022 and Influencer Marketing Hub, indicating a majority struggle to make substantial incomes. The study highlights that for most creators, the dream of making a living purely based on their creative content is still just that, a dream. Only a small percentage of creators are hitting the high earnings, with many not making enough to ditch their day jobs. Despite an estimated industry growth to $480 billion by 2027, the competition is fierce, and success is elusive for the 50 million plus creators trying to monetize their passion. Interestingly, the report suggests that those creators making over six figures do so by diversifying their income sources. The most successful employ at least 5 different streams, such as digital products, teaching, and consulting, to stabilize their earnings. Brand deals are another major income source, but reliance on brand deals alone is challenging unless you are among the creators with millions of followers. Platforms like YouTube remain top for creator earnings, despite the fact that 90% of YouTube videos never reach even 1,000 views. This just underlines how difficult it can be to convert online popularity into a sustainable income. In conclusion, if you're an aspiring creator, brace yourself for the long game. Diversification, strategy, and a significant amount of dedication are key to turning your creative pursuits into a truly economic venture. Spoutable, a new social platform that's been gaining attention as a Twitter alternative, just faced a significant security issue. Security consultant Troy Hunt, the mind behind Have I Been PM'd, outlined a vulnerability within Spoutable's API that could have allowed attackers to gain control of users' accounts fully. The flaw was serious. It exposed users' personal details, including names, usernames, bios, email addresses, IP addresses, and phone numbers. Spoutable has responded, stating that while these details were scraped, no decrypted passwords or direct messages were leaked. They assured users that precautions have been taken and even welcomed them back to a safe environment with a special pod session. But there's more to it. While passwords were hashed with bcrypt, which is a security measure, weak passwords could still be at risk of being cracked, and the service mistakenly prevented the creation of more robust passwords. Adding to the worries, the API was leaking the two-factor authentication codes and password reset tokens, which are critical for account security. This incident could potentially affect nearly all of Spoutable's user base, given that they have an estimated 240,000 users as of June last year, and the emails of around 207,000 of these users were exposed. For any Spoutable users out there, it's recommended to change your password and reset your 2FA to secure your account. And for everyone's peace of mind, you can check whether your information has been compromised by visiting the Have I Been PW'd website. That's a wrap on today's episode of Creator Daily. I'm your host, Michael, and it's been a pleasure bringing you the latest news and insights from the creator universe. Remember, if you want a deeper dive into any of the stories we've discussed, you can find all the juicy details in our show notes. That's links, resources, and more. And hey, if you've got stories of your own or just want to drop us a line, we're all ears. You can send us an email at creatordaily@podcrafter.com. We love hearing from our listener community, so don't be shy. That's it for today, but we'll be back soon with more updates to fuel your creator journey. Until then, keep creating, keep innovating, and keep sharing your stories with the world. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next episode of Creator Daily. Stay inspired.